What's up, guys? Nathan here, also known as Lil Oki the Monk. Today I'm back in with another key commentary, and today we have a plus 20 tyrannical, of course, with our friends Raging and Explosive Spires of Ascension. And I'm really excited to upload this key because for me, I think this is the most difficult and most impressive accomplishment my group has managed to achieve thus far this season. There's a lot of dangerous trash in this dungeon. There's a lot of maybe not difficult, but definitely like annoying bosses in this dungeon. And, it's just overall, it is not the easiest dungeon in the expansion. And timing a 20 of it after we did the very easy Necrotic Wake was just, a really nice change of pace because, the Wake, pretty easy dungeon we've run a lot, not something we're like terribly scared of. But this dungeon, on the other hand, who's not a little bit scared of Spires of Ascension, this place just kind of sucks. Also, at the end of the video, I will be showcasing a lovely recording of me trying Tripe because that is something I promised my group I would do. I said, hey, if we can just time a plus 20, tyrannical Spires, I'm going to eat Tripe. But yeah, less about that. You'll see it at the end if you want to see it. We're going to talk about the key a little bit here. So as you can kind of see, we're already seeing the dangerous nature of the Raging Dark Lashes and the Raging Burdens, and we're kind of just letting them go off. I think the main reason for that is because either the marking weak aura that my tank uses isn't working, or what I think is more likely is the new weak aura that I'm using that shows the cooldown of their abilities is actually overlapping on the mark. I'm not sure which one it is, but either way, we're kind of struggling to communicate kicks a little bit here, and you've noticed there's already been a number of burdens going out. And if this was fortified, that would be dead key. It's not fortified, so we kind of get away with it, but as the sort of the raging starts to pick up, we have to sort of be a little bit more careful about it. And I actually think this is the messiest part of the key. If I recall correctly, we definitely improve upon it going forward. And I think one thing that also helps is my tank is running a different legendary. There's actually two. Well, I think there's probably more than two, but there's two very popular legendaries for Protection Paladin. One makes their Shield of the Righteous hit like a fucking orbital strike cannon. I think they like have to stack it up a little bit, and then they slam with Shield of the Righteous, and it just does a shit ton of AoE damage. And then there's one that makes it so when you throw your shield, I actually am not sure what the name of that one is, but when you throw your shield, it has a chance to reset the cooldown or something resets the cooldown on it. But either way, that ability makes it so that he just sort of silences the shit out of things. And you also get a shield based on the damage dealt from that. But that allows him to sort of silence things like over and over and over again. And that's what he's running in Stungeon, which is making things a lot easier. So we're going to paralyze the Castigator. I think that we do this for two reasons. The main reason is just because, that Castigator sucks and we're kind of like brainlets, so it's nice to sort of like paralyze something and not have to worry about kicking it. But I think the more important reason is because we actually get prideful just fine with just killing these 4 mobs alone without having to touch the Castigator, so we can kind of just keep it paralyzed and kill it whenever we want. I think, we'll see exactly how it plays out, but I think what we're going to end up doing here is we're probably just going to consistently CC the mob throughout the entire boss fight, and we'll probably kill it after is what is likely to go down here. So we got a Raging Goliath here. He's beating the shit out of my tank. Or as he kind of is. My tank is kiting him a little bit, so he's not punching too hard. Now we have the Prideful. So yeah, I think we're just going to try to keep this mob CC'd, and we'll get him after as we sort of, do the backtracking slow nature of the next few pulls after the boss. But yeah, so we're just killing the Pride here. I think we're not committing any cooldowns. That's actually kind of interesting. We've been trying to get better about committing cooldowns to Prize to make it easier, but I guess at the 20 range, we're just getting better. Oh, you know what? Actually, it's probably my tank is committing wings to these is usually what he does. But in this specific Pride, we just do defensives, I think. I imagine I'm probably going to Fort Brew Karma soon. Probably. Yeah, there's my Fort Brew Karma. My mage does have Alter Time. See if we press anything else. I guess we're not going to press anything else. Oof, it gets a little bit spooky, but we do it. Okay, so we're going in on this boss. I don't have cooldowns quite yet because I used them to kill that trash pack. I don't really mind this because this boss isn't really terribly scary. I mean, it can be kind of annoying. Sometimes you'll get stacks of the dot, like when you don't actually stand in the line, which is very irritating. I think that's kind of just a buggy thing about this fight. But otherwise, this fight isn't necessarily super scary if it goes on too long. My tank does get clipped by the barrage there, which is like really scary. He definitely, oh, he dies. Yeah. Okay. So he dies there. He got clipped by the barrage because the guy managed to be actually shooting at him for once. But my warrior's very fast to taunt parry the boss, and then it flies up. So very easy there. She's very good about that. Obviously, there's not a lot of specs in the game that can sort of taunt a plus 20 tyrannical boss and actually live a significant amount of time, but having access to die by the sword is just insane for those situations. Yeah, I think what happened there is my tank was tanking the overhead slashes, which of course hits like crazy high. And then he also got clipped by the barrage because it happened to me in his direction. So we're going to keep going here. We're just trucking along. This is going to be a bit of a longer boss kill, especially since I didn't go into the boss kill with cooldowns up. So I actually didn't get to use Zuen with Lust, which is like a big burst window for me. But we're still, we're still doing okay damage. It's just kind of crazy. This boss has a lot of life to compensate for the fact that it shares life. Like the bird shares life with the other boss. So like if you have them on top of each other and you cleave, you essentially get to do like double damage. So because of that, it's balanced around having a little bit more life. And we try to cleave them when we can, and that's like how you should play it perfectly every single time. But, I know especially when I tank this place, sometimes people are a little bit wary of tanking them together. Like I personally have experienced it because it's very easy to get yourself in a position where you're facing the overhead slash in the wrong direction, or maybe he's barraging in kind of a weird way. It's just kind of spooky. So we're not tanking them right next to each other right now, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We're just playing it safe. We don't want to have any unnecessary deaths. We already had one death, and we have 4 minutes on our B res, so that would not be good. And there we go. I think I stood in the charged spear circle for just a second there, and you're really not supposed to stand in those AoEs, so it ticks for just a huge amount, very punishing amount of damage because it's a pretty obviously well signed AoE. Like, just don't stand in me. Okay, kill that boss. Takes us, let's see, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Kind of long, but not really, considering it's a tyrannical boss. Yeah, I don't think that's a huge deal. I think what we try to do here, since we kind of lack, the overwhelming damage of like a boomy outlaw rogue mage comp, I think we try to make up for it by just trying to play our mechanics as just absolutely perfectly as possible. And I think we did a pretty okay job there, minus the sort of like unlucky targeting of the attenuated barrage on my tank. But other than that, no big deal. So these next couple pulls are actually kind of scary in their own right. We have the Ether Divers, which just kind of like beat the living shit out of your tank with that insidious venom, I think is what it's called. But that cast just trucks. So you really have to be careful, especially as raging starts to kick in. So this next pull is also kind of scary. There's a couple ways you can do it, but the way we usually try to do it is we try to just sort of line around here, and then these little hurlers will run down. I think we're going to keep lining so we don't get exploded upon, because those explosives are about to go off. I think we're fine. I don't think they're going to hit us. Yeah, I think I managed to line them. I think a couple other people get hurt, but I'm playing like really safe here. So I put the ROP down there. It looked like a worthless ROP, but the thing is these guys have a tendency to jump around, and I'm never really sure what the timer is. Like you can see that's clearly not showing. Like my weak aura that tracks the cooldown of mobs is not even showing here. But sometimes they'll just jump around. And if they jump backwards up the stairs, they can kind of just fuck our entire ability to like line them whenever we want. So I like to put a ring of peace down there. So that way, if they try to jump up, they are unable to do so. And as these guys get into raging range, we try to stun them. We stormbolt them, we hodge them, we can even leg sweep them if we want to commit an AoE stun. Definitely not a bad idea. This next pull, also scary, really just for our tank though. This is like one of those pulls that you just have to kite. Like there's really just no two ways about it. And my tank is actually running Hand of the Protector here instead of a Consecration Slow. Basically, he trades out his ability to solo kite entire packs on his own for the ability to heal other people in the party for astronomical amounts. So he's running the more healing focused thing here. I'm going to leg sweep them as they start getting closer to him. I probably should have done so a little bit earlier. Then we're going to put the Ring of Peace down so my tank can continue to kite. This pull is just terrifying. Like these mobs, not only do these things just hit like an absolute truck, but they put a really nasty bleed on you. And they're now getting into raging range. He tolls, which is basically just to make sure he has aggro. But you can see he takes one stack of the bleed, and his entire shield that he gets from the legendary, because you get a big absorb shield based on the how much damage you deal with his throw shield ability. I can't remember the name of it. I feel like Shield of the Righteousness is the one that gives him armor. I'm not sure what the name of the throw shield is. I really have not played Protection Paladin in a very long time. Played it a little bit in Legion. That's about it. So now we're back on the Pride here. I think I'm on cooldown duty or something. No, I'm not on cooldown duty. I think Sykes was on cooldown duty. So we are cooldowning this a little bit. We're popping it. There's no like huge pack coming up here. There's like a little annoying pack with like 3 mobs together that's nice to kill quickly, but you really don't get a ton of value out of this Pride. So we're just committing a cooldown to it. Blow it up. Make sure my healer doesn't have to stress out at all. And now we can use Combust on the next pack. You can double pull the next pack, but it's kind of scary. Yeah, those Goliaths really start to hit hard when they rage. Like not even the cast. I mean, obviously the cast, you never want a Rebellious Fist to go off, but just like their raw like autos can really just hurt the tank quite a bit when they start raging. So Sev is combusting this. Obviously, it's only 3 mobs, but like, you know, who cares? Might as well put it on cooldown. He'll get the cooldown back pretty quick, from what I understand. Pretty good talent. And now we're going in on these guys. This route is actually a little bit different from the standard, from what I understand. A lot of people like to go left instead of right to avoid this. What I can only imagine is the double Goliath pull. But for us, we actually really don't mind the double Goliath pull all that much, because they were nerfed. I mean, this was a long time ago, but at the start of the expansion, Goliaths used to be way tankier, and I'm pretty sure they used to hit harder too, but they used to have way more life. They got their life nerfed by like 40% or something, and we kind of realized that the other day because we'd been doing the other side, which I believe has it's either 2 squad leaders or 2 Hellions. I think it's squad leaders, but there's a pair of mobs that we find far more frustrating to deal with than these Goliaths. These Goliaths are really not that big of a deal now. Especially the way we line up our cooldowns, someone is always going to have a really nice juicy cooldown for those guys. And they're much easier to deal with. So we grab the spear here. As you guys know, I am Kyrian, so I picked that up. And we are going to be committing that to a big pull in the very near future. You guys probably know that pull. It's a very good one for monks because everything is grouped up together. There's not too many mobs. There's like just a slightly more than what our target cap is. It's a really, really good pack for monks, and has a like pretty beefy mobs too, so they actually usually last long enough for you to get good value. And as you can see, my tank is getting annihilated by these raging ether divers. I just lake sweep them. I should have done so a little bit earlier. That's one thing we tried to get pretty good about in this dungeon. I think I personally didn't do a very good job, mainly because I don't have single target stuns, but both my paladins and my warrior did a really good job with it, which is stunning enemies as they get into raging range, because as they get into raging range, there's a lot of damage going out. And if you can just sort of CC them for that last 30% of their life, it just makes everybody's, life much easier. So this is the pull right here. Whoa, my God, I'm getting chunked. Yeah, as you can see, I go freaking click my health pot right there. I'm not trying to die. Yeah, we hate hurlers. Hurlers are just stupid mobs. They do melee if you have them in melee range usually, but I don't know. I really don't think they're actually very consistent. Like right now they're in melee range, but he's still hurling. He's still throwing out some raging hurls. Look at Sev. Oh my God. Sev just went from 80% life down to like 10% life from a single raging hurl. And again, I could have leg swept that. I did not do the best job of committing my CC to raging enemies. Like even this champion is just beating the crap out of my tank when he gets into raging mode. So we're going to kill this Pride. And initially, I actually said I was going to commit cooldowns to this. But my tank made a judgment call and decided that I should save cooldowns for the upcoming pull. And I think that's just because my like the nature of Zuan weapons is a little bit more AoE focused um, than Sykes's cooldown or Arms Warriors cooldowns. So she's actually committing cooldowns to this Pride right here, and I'm saving my stuff. We're going to see how hard we pop off here. If I recall correctly, the pack dies too fast for us to really pop off, but you know, it's still fun. This is one of the more fun pulls in this dungeon because this dungeon is just full of messy, unfun, no good pulls. So I'm going to go grab these little chi orbs here. I got full chi going to this. Very nice. Tank is grabbing the Goliath. He's grabbing the Ether Divers. We're going to throw the spear here. They're all stunned, and then we get to press all our buttons. Big damn. And we're tabbing around. We're going to get our Mark of the Crane stacks up, and everything is dead before I can even get more than 3 Mark of the Crane stacks. Yeah, that pack just got absolutely annihilated. We didn't even have to deal with it coming out of the stun for more than like a couple seconds. Yeah, that's a very nice pack there for us. Moving on here, we just got the squad leader. Yeah, I think this is the mob that we absolutely just hate dealing with because it gives that 75% damage reduction aura to everything around it, which is just no fun at all. And I'm pretty sure you have to deal with like 2 of those when you go the other way. And there's a very specific pull that I believe has like a hurler. It has one of those like little bleed Larian mobs and a praetor maybe, and a dark lasher, and it has a fucking squad leader. So it's like all of those mobs are so individually annoying, but then there's also a squad leader. And I think we're actually about to do that same pull right here, right before we move on to the next boss, but it's the same on both sides. Like we would have to do this pull if we went the other way as well, but the other way would make us do this pull twice. Whereas in this method, we only have to do that pull once. And we're not going to fuck around with this pull. We've struggled on this pull so many fucking times. We're just going to CC stuff. There's no inspiring, you know, there's no there's no complicated mechanic that requires us to CC. We're just out here straight up not fucking around. We're just going to CC the mobs that we find very annoying, and we're going to kill this squad leader. And then we'll move on. And this pull just sucks. We're not making it look that bad because of the CC, but man, if I had a dime for every time a key has either ended or had a wipe just on this pull specifically in pugs, like I would have several dimes, you know, quite a few dimes, that's for sure. So we killed the squad leader. We're happy about that. We can now combine, I think, here. I think he's going to grab the praetor. Yeah, he's going to grab the praetor. I think we might keep that guy sheeped. I'm actually not 100% sure what we do with that guy because I think this is pride. No, maybe this isn't pride. I don't know. We'll see what my tank decides to do. That champion is just crazy. He has the imbue weapon cast, and we actually don't have a way to purge off the buff. So he gets his buff, he goes into raging, and he just starts popping off there. We could have committed like Hodge or something. I'm actually not tracking Stormbolt, which I probably should. I don't know why I would track Hodge and not Stormbolt. But yeah, we probably should have stunned him there. He got so close to killing my tank. We also, we do Hodge the Raging Praetor, which I think is really good because the cast he does, I forget what it's called, but the cast that he does is just completely unkickable, and he just does over and over and over again. He just pelts random people with pretty high amounts of damage. So it's a good thing we stun him. So we're trying our best to hold CDs for this next boss because this is, I don't know, this might be the hardest boss in the instance here. I don't know. That's pretty subjective. I personally really struggle with the mechanic of dodging the things. I know they're completely predictable, and my tank goes out of his way to drop them so that it's easiest for melee because he knows my brain is very small, but I still struggle with it. So we're really trying our best to hold our cooldowns here so we can just murder this boss. And we have TOD, so we're going to do this pretty clean. What did we commit here? I think we just did wings on that from my paladins, but that's it. Okay, so we're going to pop off on this guy. Let's see if I decide to use my cooldowns here. Yes, I do cooldown here. So for those of you who don't know, this guy does have a phase where he takes 100% increased damage. So you can hold cooldowns for that if you want. but I don't really think that's necessary. Because the phase is very short and the bloodlust window is much longer. I want to say the phase is like either like 8 or like 10 seconds or something. So you don't actually get a lot of mileage holding it for it unless your cooldown literally only lasts like, 10 seconds. Whereas a fully fledged like monk cooldown, you don't really stop bursting until you're like, 25, 30 seconds into your cooldowns. One mechanic we're having to deal with here is also the Dark Stride. And I don't know if you guys noticed, I wasn't talking about it, but my paladins have been rotating cooldowns on my mage because it's supposed to target the furthest player away. And they did hot fix it or nerf it so that it doesn't runs away, it runs out before it targets the next person. So nobody can ever have 2 stacks of the bleed. But the bleed itself hits so hard. Like right now, I think we opened with a bop on the mage, then we rotate it into a blessing of sacrifice, then we rotate. I think he's gonna get a bop tier again, maybe. No, we're out of cooldowns now. Okay, so we'd already done one bop, one sack, one bop, one sack, and now we're having to just like raw dog heal through it, which is just a pretty enormous amount of healing. And I finally get hit by the stupid mechanic there. My warrior always calls it Undertale. It's time for Undertale, boys. Okay, so my mage has now has the Dark Stride on him. He doesn't have Cauterize anymore. He could have blocked, I think. That actually probably would have saved him. I don't know if he had like Forbearance or if those two have any, interactions there. But yeah, we tried so hard to keep him alive, and we did manage to keep him alive long enough to help kill the boss, but he just ticked down at the very last second there. Very annoying mechanic. And it doesn't help. And this is not a flame on my tank at all. Obviously, we are predominantly a melee group. Holy Paladin is basically a melee healer. So we're like 4 melee, 1 range. But my tanks it in a way to sort of like optimize ease of play for melee. So it's like Sev is having to fucking play out of his mind here to not die. And then, of course, in the end, he just dies to a completely unavoidable mechanic that he can't do anything about. Fucking Dark Stride bleed, man. Feels bad, man. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab the spear. And we're going to move on. So far, I think all of us are super happy with everyone's performance. Yeah, we've had a couple of deaths, but they're deaths from like extremely rippy boss mechanics that are like, it's like totally normal. Like that's just going to happen on a tyrannical key sometimes. Like that's the challenge of the key is performing your boss mechanics like perfectly and then beyond as well. So we're trying to kill this Hellion here. Raging Hellion, very scary, very annoying. Sometimes we actually commit cooldowns here. It's not very efficient because that mob doesn't have a lot of life. But if that mob stays alive, pulsing damage and raging for more than just a few ticks, like you're going to be in trouble because the damage she pulses is really, really high. We're going to do a skip here. I don't actually know if I've uploaded Spires to the channel before, so you guys might not have seen this, but you can do a good old Paralyzed Ring of Peace play here to move the mob away. And then that way, when you do the jump over tech right there that a lot of people do, you don't get put in combat. Most of you probably run with Demon Hunters and you can just imprison it instead. You can also soothe it if you have a priest, but if you just have something like a shitty Windwalker, just kidding, the spec's not shitty. Oh, poor Seb, he's trying to eat and then he got broke out of... he got put into combat by Explode. That sucks. But if you just have a Windwalker or a Monk or whatever, best thing you can do is hit him with the old Paralyze Ring of Peace tech. And here, I'm just trying to like focus these explosives now. This is always a terrifying pull for me because you never know when you're just going to lose the lottery. Like I just kind of lost the lottery there. I just got hurled twice, but I did pop Fort Brew. I was not taking any chances. I almost always pop a defensive going into that because I just absolutely know that those guys are going to destroy me. If I get unlucky, if I get targeted by 2 at the same time, I'm probably like next to dead. Like I'm dead on the next hurl. And if I get targeted by 3 at the same time and I don't have a cooldown up, I'm 100% dead. And if they're raging, I probably just get one shot by one of them, but who cares? Either way, I don't fuck around on that. I always use defensives on that. Okay, so we're starting the next boss, and this boss is actually similar to the last boss in that there is another recharge phase where he takes increased damage. So we're gonna karma this. Unfortunately, it's baby karma. Ideally, you want to pair Fortifying Brew with karma on this boss because the damage is so high, it will completely eat through your entire default karma shield in like 2 or 3 ticks. But if you pair with Fort Brew, you can get huge karma value, like huge damage value and huge defensive value. Anyway, like I was saying, this boss has another recharge mechanic, but it lasts quite a long time. And then also the amount of life on this boss is ridiculous. Like I think he has like 4 million life or something. So I really like to actually save cooldowns for the recharge phase. Sev doesn't need to because, you know, he's a fire mage and he actually is it looks like he's going to have combust up actually. He's having combust up in 5 seconds. So he's actually going to get mileage out of the recharge even though he combusted on pole, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, we're just doing our best to murder this. The recharge phase is pretty long on this boss. I want to say it's like 15 seconds. And then also he just has a lot of life. So I feel like you have to dump cooldowns in the recharge phase or it's just objectively the wrong way to do the boss. At least for something like Windwalker where our cooldowns are really long. I think that's the right call. You can maybe like cooldown like before he does it, maybe like 10 seconds before and then have cooldowns going like well he is recharging, but just the way I play Windwalker, I feel like I get a lot more damage value by waiting until the recharge starts because I don't know. I tend to play my rotation better at the start of my burst. I don't think that's like a super uncommon thing, but it's just me. So we're just trucking away here, killing the old 4 million life boss. I feel like I'm probably going to get another Zuen use out on this boss. We'll see, but I do have a feeling. And we're just doing our best to drop these circles together. That's one way I think a lot of people like to play this boss is you put the circles together and then you just move to the side and you do that over and over and over again. And then when he does the recharging phase, you have somebody with like a really good defensive or an immunity to just soak all of them. And because all of the circles are together, they usually are, you know, spawning together. Makes it pretty easy. If you don't have immunities or good defensives, like for whatever reason, if you've like used all your walls on the weird little zap mechanic that exists, then you can kind of like rotate people. But what you really don't want to do is have somebody just fully soak all of them because it gets a stacking dot on you and it's just gross. So we almost have our cooldowns up. I'm going to pop them right here. Yeah, because there's a solid like 10 seconds left on the phase. So it's not a huge deal. I think we just soaked. What happened there? I think a bunch of people just soaked 1 stack of that. I'm not really sure what happened. So definitely a bit inefficient, but I just wanted that boss to be dead. We'd already spent so long. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. Which is not too bad. Here I'm checking my damage on Touch of Death. Because I Touch of Death into, I think, his recharge phase with Zuen up. And I'm actually not sure how all of that interacts together, but in my mind, I was like, okay, this Touch of Death is probably going to hit like a truck if it crits, but it looks like it didn't crit. Because now Touch of Death can crit, is affected by versatility, is affected by mastery, and theoretically should empower Zuen's lightning. So obviously that 10% would be factored into Zuen's empowered lightning, not so much the Touch of Death damage itself. But yeah, I was just curious how hard it was going to hit there. So now we're moving on. We are feeling really good right now. Like this is a hard key for us, but we've managed to make it to the 3, we call them the 3 lesbians. I don't really actually have much facts or evidence to support this claim, but you know, this is supposedly a fact that these 3 characters are indeed lesbians, and Devos is likely to be one as well. This is, you know, again, no facts, but something that we've all considered as a group. But anyway, we made it to these three lesbians, and we are pretty proud of ourselves. 10 minutes left. That's pretty impressive for us. We've walked up here with like 8 minutes left and have felt like we can still time it. So the fact that we made it this far up here with 10 minutes left is pretty impressive. So the first guy there, not really an issue. All it does is make people take increased physical damage, and the only physical damage that goes out is the cleave on the front that you get hit by and just the auto attacks that it does. So not really an issue there. Like, as long as you don't get cleaved. Obviously, if you get cleaved, you're going to be in trouble, but you really shouldn't be getting cleaves at all on like a single mob with no other mechanics going out. This one is a little bit scarier. This is the one that pulses, I think it's just like AoE magic damage to everybody, while also reducing our magic resistance or causing us to take increased magic damage. I don't know exactly how the calculation works, but as it gets low, like the ticks get unreal. Like, just watch this here. The raging. We're ticking for, Sev just ticked for about a quarter of his life. My healer is just having to pop off to keep us alive here. Yeah, that was pretty scary. My healer bubbled there. Sev blocked. Yeah, that was a little bit spooky. So this next one's going to be really tough, but I think we have Bloodlust, and we're probably going to commit that here. We usually do like to commit Bloodlust on the last one here. Man, I really don't know if I should have opened up about the whole lesbian thing. I feel like now I sound like a weirdo. I don't know. That's just something we've discussed at length. We've said, hey, do you think Devos is a lesbian? And then somebody says no. And then somebody says yes. And it's just, it's just a point of contention, It's a good conversation to have. I don't know. Just more representation in my video games, dude. How can I be upset about that? Okay. We're knocking out this one here. This is pretty scary because this has all of the previous mechanics. Increase physical damage taken. Don't get hit by the cleaves. Increase magic damage taken. Enjoy the pulsing magic damage. And, of course, the spear on the ground, which is just terrifying. Unfortunately, we just fucking die here, basically. I'm asking at this point, like, should we try to invis this? Should we try to invis this? And my tank's like, no, we got 7 minutes, man. We're good. So we go in, we just die. We could invis this, but the thing is, there's already people dead, and so they would have to release and fly up anyway. And then also the pride is like going to get stacks, and it's just messy. It's just a lot easier for us to, die really quick and then head up. So I'm eating really quick. That might be a little bit of a mistake here. But I really want to get my buff before we get up and tackle the pride. So they're starting the pride right now. We're going to roll in there a little bit late, but we do have a cooldown if we want. We have Avatar, we have Combust, we have Zuen, we have anything and everything. And this is not a boss that you get a lot of mileage off cooldowns for. I guess you probably do on Tyrannical just because of the fact that you probably get more value just because of the fact that she has so much life. You can cool down like every phase. But typically this boss will like phase if everybody pops cooldowns right away. So this is a bit of a fringe case because it is Tyrannical 20 Spires. I don't think a lot of people would be running this kind of key anyway. Sev does choose to combust it though. Definitely a good choice. Sev combusting prides is always good to see. We like it a lot because out of all of us, he's the one that has... It's funny because he has a 2-minute cooldown. It is the most impactful cooldown that we have access to damage-wise, but he can farm it up so much faster than any of else. Like, Sykes locked in at a minute and a half for Avatar Colossus Smash. I'm locked in at, 2 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer if I want to have 2 SEF charges. It's like 2 minutes, and then every other cooldown, I actually have 2 SEF charges instead of just 1 SEF charge. So mine's more like 4 minutes for max burst, which it's crazy because like our cooldowns are so much worse than his, but he farms it so much faster. That is the power of Fire Mage. Why his spec is pretty okay. So one thing we try to do on this boss, and I recommend kind of just anybody do, is try to face the run-throughs to the wall. If you can do that, she'll only move just a couple of feet, and it's really nice. We don't do it perfectly, and I think it's kind of everybody just kind of like on edge at this point. We're like, oh god, we have like 5 minutes to kill this boss. We know we can do it, just nobody can fuck up. And last time we did this boss, a lot of people died. I think it was both me and Sev, I think. It was me and one other person. Their DBM just bugged out, and we stopped getting notifications for run through, and we instantly started struggling. Sykes had to go like full shot calling mode and like tell us when it was coming out. So we're a little scared. And one thing I just want to point out from a Windwalker perspective is I got the lost confidence and I diffused it. That's something I like. You don't always want to do, because what it does is it does immediately remove the debuff from you. Not a bad thing, but it puts it on her. So your healer doesn't have to cleanse you, but on the trade-off, there's now a, lost confidence on Devos that is not damaging her, contrary to how you may think it would work. It's on her, and then it's going to drop at the end of the debuff, and then there'll be an extra circle on the ground, not exactly where you want it to be. That being said, getting a free cleanse, aka your healer doesn't have to cleanse you, you can just press diffuse, is usually worth the trade-off for us. So I don't even ask anymore. I used to ask because I'm like never sure if I'm doing the right thing. But yeah, I've gotten a little bit better about it. So yeah, that was a perfect example of a run through put right in the wall. I think it was on Sykes there, and literally she just did the run through animation. The whole thing took like 2 seconds. We didn't have to like run over to her. Sid didn't have to like walk up and keep hitting it with Crusader Strike. It was just right there. And that was a bad run through. Obviously I'm not flaming anyone here, but that's just an example of a way you wouldn't want to do it. Ideally, you want to do it just a little bit differently there. Right up against the wall. I think we're also getting kind of lucky with explodes on this fight. There's only been a few explode spawns so far, and they have not been too bad at all. I could totally see this fight being very annoying with explodes, because as you can see, we have to play this fight in the stupidest way because of the fucking Archon wings in the air. It's so hard to see anything. Like if I were to like play this fight normal, like kind of just like lower my camera a little bit and sort of like stare at the boss, I wouldn't be able to see anything because the way the camera interacts with the Archon wing. Like see how those wings are? That's because I had my camera how I wanted to have it for just a second. And then I realized, oh my bad. The wings don't let me do that. We do a quick little zap on that explode there. Making good use of Jade Lightning, actually. Not really an ability you ever need or should be pressing as Windwalker, but it's really your only good ranged ability unless you talent into Chi Burst. And Chi Burst won't even hit explodes. Explodes have to be targeted on. So you could maybe kill them with Chi Wave if you wanted to run Chi Wave for an explode week. You could do that. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I don't really mind just killing things with Crackling Jade Lightning. So one thing I'm trying to do here is I used to be the one that throws because I've been pretty consistent with throwing in the past, and it's more useful to have the person that's done it before to kind of just do it themselves. But we're trying to let my tank throw now because one, sometimes I'll run over the circles and I'll go up and there's like a bug where my healer can't actually see me because I'm technically like in a vehicle and it like bugs out. So my tank is much more likely to survive about 5 seconds of no healing than I am. Okay, so we're popping off in the sky. I just did the same thing as before. I popped Zuen and then I TOD'd outside of the perfect one-shot threshold just so I could try to get that extra damage and that crit. Hard gambling, but whatever. Did I get that run through? Perfect run through by me. That was like a 0-second movement. And at this point, we're like, holy shit, we have a minute left. She has 20k life. We actually fucking did it. Oh, this is some exciting stuff. Okay, so that's that, guys. There is the plus 20 Tyrannical Spires. Easily the hardest key I think we've timed this season. We're going to keep going. We're not done yet, but I just wanted to share this with you guys because it was something that I was really excited about. And now I have to make good on a promise. I told my friends that I would be eating tripe, which is also known as the intestinal linings of a cow. So yeah, we're going to cut to that now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the consumption of tripe. Hello, my friends. Today we're going to be eating various forms of tripe to celebrate the timing of the plus 20 Tyrannical Spires. Originally I was just going to do this for my friends, but I decided why not post it at the end of the video proper. So yeah, we're going to take a look here. We ordered from a place called El Matador Tacos. I've never been there before, but it was the only place nearby that had access to tripe and tripe related products. So we got a tripe taco, we got a tripe tostada, and we got a tripe torta. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not fully sure what a torta is, but we got that. Looks like they gave us some salsas. I actually don't know if we need to dip in there. We'll see. I actually haven't eaten much yet today, so I'm pretty hungry, which could either oh my god, that looks kind of gross. Okay, which might backfire on me. Okay, here's the first one here. You can show me if you can show them if you want. That's the tripe taco. It looks, it's like crispy. It's not actually very I don't know, gooey, I guess. It's definitely more of the crispy variety here. So we're just going to start here. We got a little cilantro. I guess we should probably put some salsa on it because all it has is cilantro and onions. Let's put a little salsa.
Wait, shouldn't you take like a little bite of just the one?
The single tripe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a single tripe here. I just don't want this to run too long, you know?
Like, why is it shaped so weird?
Wow. Okay. I mean, it's not that bad. It kind of has like a... It might be my imagination, but it kind of has like a dirty flavor to it. I think that's maybe just my imagination, though, you know, knowing what it is. So, like, my tongue is like, wow, I'm really grossed out already. What the fuck, dude? Why did you make me do that? I should have fucking done that. I should have fucking hit it with the cilantro and onion.
Sprout's watching you in the back.
Okay. We're fine. We're carried by the salsa. Their salsa is actually pretty spicy, so it's good. Means I can't actually worry too much about all the other flavors going on. Oh, there's a lime. Oh my god, I forgot the lime. Oh my god. Okay, there's a little bit of lime here. Finish this guy off, you know. I didn't see there was a lime. They're hiding it under the little parchment paper thing. Okay. I would put that like exactly on par with just like a regular like carne asada like street taco. Like once all the other stuff was in there, I couldn't even taste the tripe anymore. So solid 7, 8 out of 10 maybe. Okay, I don't know what the fuck this is here. I'm not gonna eat everything, but I think this is the torta maybe or the tostada. Oh, this is not. These are not crispy. These are...
Wait, can I get a close-up?
Oh, they're kind of chewier looking. These are a little bit chewier looking than the other ones. Oh, God.
I didn't really focus.
Am I supposed to, like, eat this with my hands, or am I supposed to use a fork? Oh, this is grossing me out, dude. Should I get, like, a fork, do you think? You think I need a fork for this? I think I need a fork.
It's right here, babe.
Oh, yeah. I'm stupid. I, like, prepared everything here, and then I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a tostada.
Oh, these are called tostadas? Okay.
I think so.
I don't know nothing about my Mexican food. I know my burritos, I know my tacos, you know, that's about it. That's me. Okay. We're just gonna, I don't know how the fuck to eat this. This is like really difficult for me.
I'd pick it up with your hands. Maybe.
No, it's like really hard and it doesn't bend and stuff. Here, we're just gonna like get some stuff on my... I mean, it's not terrible, but like, I don't know. It's not that good. It's just like a little... This one's definitely not as fried. This one's just like kind of chewy. I don't know. This doesn't have the spicy salsa on it because I didn't put it on. So I feel like I'm really just getting... Man, it's just like really fatty. It's just like fatty and chewy. Is like
so like, is it in a circular shape because it's an intestine, or is it just lining? I think so.
It's intestinal lining, isn't it? Yeah, look, it's got a nice little hole in the middle.
Okay, before you finish that, I would try the other thing.
Yeah, I can't have them alone. Every time I fucking eat them alone, dude, fuck off. Oh man, it's just like so. Oh man, it's my stupid brain thinks it's some fucking nasty, squishy thing, you know?
It looks pretty disgusting.
Okay, here's the last one. Oh, is this the torta right here?
That must be the torta.
Fucking torta, dude?
Okay, so it's like, what, a sandwich?
It's a torta. It looks like a Cubano.
Can I like,
can I show the inside of it? This is, I don't know why I felt the need to get all these different permutations of tripe. I actually don't. I think I'm kind of doing myself a disservice here.
It looks like good quality food though, right?
Does it though? I mean, it looks fine. I wouldn't be like, wow, can't wait to get this at my next 5-star, eating out experience. Like, hey,
5-star.
Hello, good sir, may I have your finest tripe torta, please?
No, I mean like just the place itself looks like they serve good quality food.
It's a nice big old black hair here. Lovely. Let's go. Good quality food, baby. Let's go, baby. I hate looking at them. Every time I fucking look at them, dude.
so much food.
I'm not eating it all. This is just for the meme. Oh, that one turned out distinctly chewier than the others. I think it's just the bread, though. That is really chewy stuff. How is the taco one like fried to a crisp, and then this one is the fucking consistency of Jell-O?
Oh no.
Okay, one more big bite.
Maybe it's like fattier tripe? Nah, it's probably just how it's cooked.
Okay. Honestly, dude, it's not the worst. I don't know. That was fine. Overall, would I ever order tripe over like chicken, like beef, pork, any of the more normal meats? No. But if I had grown up eating tripe instead of one of the normal meats, would I care? Would I even like notice a difference? I don't know. Yeah, I give the whole experience like a 6 out of 10. Sorry if that was disappointing. I was a little grossed out, but it wasn't actually that bad. I'll finish this later, I'm sure. Definitely. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for plus 25 Spires, where I eat literal dog shit. Thanks.